These are some moments from the final promotional video I made for Rich Harris, a well-known tattoo artist for his new product, INKSLAB. But 3 months ago, this was only a sketch and idea, so I will show you how everything came together. However, this is not a tutorial video, it's more of an overview of what took place. The brief. So, INKSLAB. It's been something I've been developing with Rich for over a year at this point, a new generation of ink trays with 3 different versions. And once the product was finished, Rich came to me to create a promotional video for it. Since I'm a 3D artist, he wanted something cinematic and animated that wasn't live action, and he came in with a really clear idea: an underground lab where INKSLAB designs are being developed by the main character, and later, as if through sci-fi magic, they would multiply, forming this big massive grid out of ink slabs, and each individual cell would fill in with a specific color, revealing a big art piece at the end. Beyond that, the story, the visuals, the main character was up to me to figure it out, which was involved as a creative director across the whole process of the project, reviewing my first takes, providing me feedback across the project as things were developing. Concept art and storyboard. The first real milestone was a concept sketch. This is where the mood, the feel, the whole vibe of the video got locked in, before anything else existed. INKSLAB in its branding has a strong pink color element, and I wanted to make sure to have that included from the get-go, which can be seen in this finalized concept sketch. From there, I moved on to the storyboard to show how the video would actually flow. All of that, the concept art, the storyboard, the mood board, got pulled together into a pitch document and presented for approval. The original concept proposal was presented in early 2026, and a couple months later, I received the full go-ahead for the full production. Pre-production. Designing the world. Before touching Blender, I sketched out some of the main assets, from small to big hero items. The consoles, the server units, the pressure plates, the room itself, and so on. That way, by the time I sat down to actually model everything, I already knew exactly what I wanted to build. In total, that ended being around 20 separate assets for the lab environment. I also bought a few assets from Fab and some specialist furniture objects to allow me to optimize my time for the production, which are in the first space at the start of the video. The blockout, getting the bones right. The first big production task was a blockout, a rough, low-detail version of the whole video. Simple lighting, basic models, simple animation, just enough to review the video structure and to get Rich's music producer Colin to start on the music. One thing I expected to be a real headache was the INKSLABs multiplying into a grid and circular arrays, but Unreal Engine motion design tools made that surprisingly intuitive to get it right. The main character herself was built using MetaHuman Creator in Unreal Engine 5.7, though at this stage I was focused more on getting the video's bones right, not her final look. The actual trickiest technically part of the whole animation process was the ink filling the cells. I didn't want to use the liquid simulation, too slow, too heavy for Unreal to handle. The fix ended up being Blender's geometry nodes. I made a grid out of cubes where each quote-unquote pixel took its own color from a base image. Then, in Unreal Engine, I used material offset functionality to create an illusion of the ink filling of the ink slabs. It took some trial and error, but once it clicked, it was exactly the look we had in mind. Building the assets. Once the blockout was locked and off to music production, I moved on to the detailed models, finally. All 20 assets built in Blender and textured in Substance Painter. Motion capture. I wanted the character to move as realistic as possible, but animating by hand would have taken some time, and I'm no pro character animator. So with the hand movements I had in mind for the main character would have been too complex to animate convincingly, so the only way to go ahead was motion capture. I reached out to Bomb, based in Birmingham, UK, and was lucky enough to get a chance to use their virtual production suite. Chassis, a choreographer, professional dancer, and Birmingham-based actor, agreed to perform for the capture. We only had 1 day booked for the actual capture, so we organized a rehearsal day beforehand to make sure we were fully prepared. Shake it off a little bit,
So this one will be linked, this two?
Yeah, because the camera changes and everything, so it's going to be separate animations. For example, if you'll call the chassis movement 1, this is going to be chassis movement 2 as a take, and they'll combine them because they will come out at different sequences.
Okay.
So they won't move it all the way. I can just slightly lift your head up.
Oh, to watch the square.
Yeah, sort of imagine this big sphere, in front of you, this bobbling thing.
See the
So basically, the way the video works is 1, 2. It's not the same time.
as an actor. This one and this one.
Both of them, you can sort of pull the both hands. And the idea was sort of the thing comes down, and you're sort of using almost like magic. So multiplying them. As if you're controlling sort of the material, almost like, you know, above.
Okay.
Yeah. And also could be like faster. Because then we're gonna see the face too. You kind of do like that. So then looking above your through your eyes. Nice. Oh, I like that. That was cool. You want to take some notes?
Yeah.
After that, we have one more.
Yeah.
Thing of here, so we'll do that next. Yeah, that's pretty much it. On the capture day itself, we made our way to BOM and met Akshay, the technician helping us through the process. We used a Rokoko motion capture suit. Once chassis was suited up, calibrated and synced, we ran through the multiple takes, so I'd have plenty of options to choose from once I got back to the edit. Big shout out to Avery for capturing all of this behind the scenes footage from the motion capture day.
Or do that again? Again, or
Yeah, let's do
this
it
one?
again. No, let's do the whole part of this, okay?
This is take 3.
Yes, please, thank you. Very nice. Hold it. Button was like boom, like you need to have this thing.
You can do it on this table.
Okay, but just put something over soft.
Yeah.
Something else up with those. You see this moment here.
Or just this one.
Yeah, but basically I want chassis to go like this, a bit more, a bit of like a swing. There's a bit more power into it.
Okay, that's fine.
Is it too high or?
If you could raise your left arm.
Action. You just do it over here. What? Okay.
Yeah, nice.
5, take 5. 1, 2, 3, 1.
This was my first time using motion capture in my animation workflow. Actually showed me how to retarget the capture data to my character as well during our session at BOM. Big thanks to BOM for that, it made a real difference on how natural the character ended up moving. Making the capture usable. The capture itself was great, but it wasn't a straight drop-in. There were a few tracking errors here and there, especially with the fingers, so I had some cleaning up to do in Unreal Engine sequencer to fix clashing arms, hands, and legs. Once I was sorted, I swapped it into the second blockout version and sent it to Rich for review. Based on his feedback, we improved the camera movement, angles, and compositions in the video to make the whole product and the final result to look much, much better. Full assembly and finishing the character. With the blockout approved, I went back and rebuilt the whole scene with the finished assets, full lighting, several days spent polishing the animation, compositions, and effects. Once I was done, I rendered everything out and assembled the first full pass in DaVinci Resolve. At this point though, the character's final look still wasn't locked. Since Rich is a tattoo artist, I asked him to sketch out how he wanted her body art to look, and gave him a front and back view of her to design on. I received the sketch from Rich. I liked how the character colors were inverted, white hair, dark skin, edgy strong look. So I recreated his design in Substance Painter. However, the first version with the red lines ended up looking a little too close to a villain for a movie franchise that rhymes with car doors. You know the one. So alternative color options and combinations were explored. I tried a few options in the actual lit scene in Unreal, and the blue and the ocean teal version won out. It just fit best once I saw in context. With the character finished, I did final detail touches in Unreal Engine, fixed the bugs, made the lighting better. That full pass went to Rich to guide the final version of the music track. Once the finished track came back, I edited the whole video in DaVinci Resolve to the music's BPM, sorted out some funky transitions, color grading, and added my favorite, film grain. And here is the final result.
You don't have to pretend, baby. I know it gets hard. Looking around, you start to think, maybe this isn't what I wanted. But you have to keep going, keep moving on, and don't you ever look back.
And that's how INKSLAB promotional video came together, from an original sketch to a final video in around 3 months. Honestly, the two things I'm most proud of are the ink filling effects and the motion capture day, which was the most human part of the whole project. And motion capture was something I always wanted to include in my workflow to add this additional level of detail and realism to the projects I do. Big thanks to Rich for trusting me with this, to Colin for the track, Chassie for her performance, and Akshay and the whole BOM team for their expertise and access to the virtual production suite. It was an awesome experience and would love to do that again one day. So if you're interested to learn more about INKSLAB or BOM and what they do, see the links below. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks for watching.